for our visitors, that's our traditional greeting, peace be upon you. So we're very happy that all of you chose to join us during this holiday of Sunday. I know we're competing with American football and other things, so we're glad that you're here for a very important event to really learn about our prospective candidates who are running for office. And so this Community Candidates Forum is really dedicated for you, the people, and the community itself to learn about who these candidates are that you might have heard about on TV or in the newspaper. So they're here live with you. Just to be aware, some of them will have to leave early, which is very understandable, but we'll make sure that all of you get an opportunity to hear them out. So before we officially begin, if you can all help me rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So the format is pretty straightforward. We're going to give each candidate about 5 minutes to speak. They're going to introduce themselves, the office that they're running for, as well as the issues that they care about, and the ticket that they're running for as well. And for the speakers, just as a final reminder, we'll have a timer right in front. Our staff member, Chris, he'll just give you a symbol of 1 more minute left on your speech. So you guys can either be seated, stand, or come to the podium, whatever you'd like. But basically, we'll go through the line, and we'll get to know each of our speakers. So we'll start with Mr. Carlos.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Carlos Smith, and I'm the Democrat running for the Florida House of Representatives, District 49. And I'm here today to ask you for your vote and for your support, not just because I'm not Donald Trump, but also because I have spent most of my career fighting for the civil rights of minority populations, and in Tallahassee, that fight is going to continue to also include the Muslim, the Arab, and the South Asian American community, now more than ever. I'm exceptionally proud of our entire community's response to what happened this summer. And I say that in the context of this forum, because it's many of the people who are here in this room, many of the leaders in the Muslim community, like Imam Masri, who we all stood together after June 12th, not only to just denounce violence and hatred and uproot bigotry, but also to show the world that Orlando is an inclusive and diverse place that loves and respects everyone, and also that Orlando is a place where strong relationships and bridge building has been happening between the LGBT and the Muslim and Islamic community long before June 12th. And I just want to first thank all of you for the outpouring of love and compassion, the blood that you donated to help so many folks in our community who needed it most at a time of tremendous need. And also to tell you that I am with you in the fight for equality. Last night, I went to the annual banquet for CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations, and one of their staff members, Hassan Shibli, reminded the audience that in the last year, hate crimes and incidents of hate have increased 500% against American Muslims. That's unacceptable. And unfortunately, because of our political discourse, the normalization of xenophobia and Islamophobia has already happened, regardless of who wins the presidency of the United States. And that's something that we have to work together to be able to reverse and to be able to move on from, because we are all in this together. We all want to live the American dream. And what I want to let you know is that in Tallahassee, it is going to be super important for have experience in fighting for civil rights for all communities. This last legislative session was a legislative session that saw bills that were filed that were xenophobic and Islamophobic bills that would have put an end to and restricted the federal placement of Syrian refugees in the entire state of Florida. A completely arbitrary and unnecessary xenophobic bill. Even though that bill did not pass, I am very certain that it will be filed again in the 2017 legislative session, and we need leaders out there who are going to stand against these types of horrible, horrible bills that feed into xenophobia and Islamophobia. What I would like to close with is an invitation to all of you, which is an event that I'm going to be having on Tuesday. The final fundraiser for my campaign, which happens to be an event that's going to be hosted by Rasha Mubarak and Mark Nijam at Nijam Law on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Some of you may have received those flyers already, but this is an event that is specifically called Muslim, Arab American, and South Asian American Leaders for Carlos. And I'm extremely humbled by the support I've received from your community. I invite you to join us on that Tuesday night at 6 p.m. at Nijam Law. I also want to let you know I've been endorsed by Emerge USA for my outreach work to the Masa community, and also I've been endorsed by Congressman Keith Ellison, the first Muslim congressman in the history of the United States. I'm very humbled by that. I thank you for your support and ask for your vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Just as a reminder, while the candidates are speaking, if you have any questions for them, please write them down on the index cards that are available so that we can respect everybody's time. And once you wrote your question, you can just raise your hand and a couple of our volunteers will come by and pick them up, and then we'll read them after all the candidates have spoken. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daisy Aruz, and I am a candidate for the Orange County Clerk of Courts office. I have been an Orange County resident for 24 years, and out of those 24 years, I've been a government employee for 23. I have seen the growth in this community, and one of the things that I highly embrace, is the diversity growth. I come from New York City, and in New York City, that's all you see is diversity. You see a community in different locations, and I am acclimated to that type of community. The reason why I'm running for Clerk of Courts is because I have seen many unjust and unfairness in the processes, and also I've noticed that when you go for services, you have to pretty much flip-flop to different agencies. As a citizen and also as a person needing services through these agencies, I don't know about many of you, but time consumption and money is a factor for many people. The livelihoods of people needing these services and having to take time out of their busy schedule or finding babysitters to obtain these services is a hindrance. So for that reason, I am trying to find different methods within the system to assist the people of this community. And not in just one way, not just through technology, in many ways. Communication with the agencies, communication with the people utilizing these services. One of the things throughout my campaign that I've noticed is that people want to be heard. How can they be heard if government do not open doors to everyone? Not just certain people, not just certain specific groups, but everyone. The diversity here needs a government that would provide services for all individuals. So as I'm running for this campaign and doing what I do, which is going to different communities, meeting people of different ethnicities, religion, I listen to them and I try to understand what is it that they need from government. What they need from government is a leader that respects each and every diversity that lies within this community. So with that in mind, I ask for your vote. I don't have a website because I'm running on a slim budget, but look me up. If you have any questions, I am more than willing to have coffee with you, or if you invite me to one of your forums, your community HOA meetings, I am there. I am committed to serving the community. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Murphy, and I'm the Democrat running for U.S. Congress to represent Florida's 7th Congressional District. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I want to thank the Islamic Society of Central Florida for putting this event together. You know, at a time when hateful anti-immigrant rhetoric seems to fill our nation, we must remember the values on which our nation was built. As an immigrant myself, I want to make sure every person has an opportunity to achieve the American dream. My family and I immigrated to America from Vietnam. And what we found when we moved here was a nation welcoming of all people. My campaign has been one that has been built on the principles of equality for everyone. As a businesswoman and a former national security specialist, I want to protect the American dream and expand the opportunities that help strengthen our middle class. As a mother of 2 young children, I want to make sure that every child has a fair shot at achieving his or her dreams. But partisan gridlock has ground our nation to a halt, and I think it's time we need to fix that. In Washington, my focus will always be on creating jobs, raising wages, and making sure every person has a fair shot at achieving the American dream. As a country, we must reject the hateful rhetoric that targets those in the Islamic community. It's reprehensible that the Republican nominee for president continues to call for a ban on Muslims entering our nation. And furthermore, it's wholly unacceptable that Congressman John Micah continues to support the Republican presidential nominee. Someone who tolerates values of hatred should not represent our community. Once again, I want to thank the Islamic Society of Central Florida for hosting me and for holding this forum. I would be honored to have your vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Tiffany Morrison. I am a native of Orlando. I actually grew up in Tangelo Park, and I'm a graduate of Dr. Phillips High School. I'm a mother and a wife. I'm the mother of 2 sons, an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I currently serve as your elected Orange County Clerk of Court, and I am seeking re-election to that office. Prior to being elected to your Clerk of Court, I served 8 years as an Orange County Commissioner over in District 6, which is the West Orange County I-Drive area. And so I've had the opportunity to serve this community, provide leadership in this community from a policy perspective, and now from a perspective of running an agency. 3 things that I want to address and continue to address as your Clerk of Court is, 1, to continue to increase access to the court system. There are numerous studies that show that 80% of our society will not be able to afford an attorney, which is why in my first year in office, I opened the Lydia Gardner Self-Help Center. It is a full-time center within the courthouse that is there with full-time staff to help with forms, notary services, and to answer questions for those individuals having to navigate the justice system. We also partner with the Bar Association to offer $1 a minute legal costs with an attorney. And so that allows that individual who wants to speak with an attorney at a minimum of $15 an opportunity to talk to an attorney and get their questions answered. Since we've been open, we've serviced 16,000 residents in Orange County. And so we want to continue to enhance those services and eventually expand that self-help center and put it at our branches, whether it's a Popka or the Goldenrod on this side of town where we watch it grow. The second area that I want to address is to use technology to enhance our customer service and provide services. We launched a new website. We also launched a website that allows for citizens to be able to see all court documents in our system. I'm proud to tell you that out of the 67 clerk's offices in the state of Florida, we are the only one that allows the public to see all case types. And that means that people can look up their files and look at their documents if it's approved about the Supreme Court matrix system. And we also read our website. We just recently launched what we call My E-Marriage, which is online initiation of your marriage license. So one thing that I see when it comes to the clerk's office is that not everybody wants to come to the courthouse. It's not a place where people just choose to come to the courthouse. So what we want to do is make sure they have to come to the courthouse and interact with us, and they have a positive experience, they get good customer service, and they'll be able to use the system properly. And then what we also want to do is to continue to educate the public and enhance the community when it comes to information. One of the things we've done since I've been the clerk is we've created a program called Legal Matters. And it's education forums trying to understand the foreclosure process. Many people know that Florida was one of the hardest hit states in the foreclosure system. And Florida still continues to be one of the large states. And so we still offer workshops. We bring in attorneys who understand the real estate market and train the citizens on the foreclosure process, or even explain to tenants who find themselves renting a home that's in foreclosure. So as your clerk of court, I will continue to provide technology, provide customer service, but also enhance our services. We opened up a new branch on Sand Lake near the Florida Mall. We haven't had a branch opening in 12 years. We continue to expand our services and reach the entire Orange County as it continues to grow. And so I'm asking for your votes. If you already have your absentee ballot at home, I ask you to vote for Tiffany Moore Russell. If you vote early on October 24th, please consider voting for me and re-electing me as your clerk of court. And of course, the last day is November the 8th. So whether you vote in any of those three methods, I ask you to vote for Tiffany Moore Russell and re-elect me as your clerk of court. Thank you so much for being here today and listening to us.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. My name is Gus Martinez. I stand before you as a candidate for House District 48. I am not a politician. I'm an individual who served my community for the last 6 to 7 years, and I decided it was time to stand up and represent the people that I speak for and those that I serve in the street. Since 2010, I have been serving the homeless in every area in Orlando, whether it be the woods in East Orlando, downtown Orlando, or West Orlando. I have dealt with a lot of individuals and helped them from the process of getting their ID to getting their homes. I'm also a member of the Orange County Commission on Aging for about 1.5 years now. I started a new program called Teach Them to Fish, which is dedicated to empowering young people. Because parents are working 2 jobs, they're hardly ever home, and these kids are losing some of these skills, or they're learning from the streets. So I come before you as a candidate because I believe that we need to reorganize, restructure, and improve our education system. I believe that our elderly should not be having to choose between medicine and food. I've been helping veterans for the last 6 years as well. I am a people person. I'm here not to represent parties, but to represent people. I am a faith-based individual. I was raised by my grandmother in the faith. And so I respect your faith and your struggles in your faith. And your being able to speak publicly, freely, your faith. I know that nowadays it's a little bit harder, but it shouldn't be. Because this is the America I grew up in, where everybody has their own flavor. I come to you as your brother, asking you for your vote. Please consider me as an option when you vote for your state representative in District 48. Thank you.
So hello everyone, my name is Paul Stanton. I am a Libertarian running for the U.S. Senate here in Florida. I am a veteran, I'm a peace activist, and I am a civil liberties activist as well. So, first of all, thank you all for inviting me here. I'm deeply humbled by it, and I mean that in all sincerity. I walked through the door and I saw the t-shirts, and what a great message to love your neighbor. And I think that's important. And I don't think a lot of people understand. So I was endorsed by Bill Colby. He's the founder of Muslims for Liberty. He is a libertarian like myself. He actually travels the world trying to spread ideas of freedom and liberty to Muslim communities around the world. And then tries to, here in America, spread the ideas of peace and Islam in America. Great guy. And he's someone I would call a friend. So, I'm running for U.S. Senate simply because I want to end the violence. I want to end the violence overseas. I want to end the violence domestically. And it's unfortunate that both of those things fall disproportionately on certain communities. I also want to help those in need. Money is tight for a lot of people. It is. Yet we have people at the poverty line who are still disproportionately affected by our current federal tax system. And it's sad. Additionally, I want to go to Washington. I want to represent you as your senator to spread the simple message that freedom is for everybody. Liberty is inclusive. And this is a concept that I think too many people forget. If we do not treat everyone as an equal and recognize the worth of every individual, we recognize the worth of no individual. And one way that we can recognize that is through our current immigration policy and current immigration proposals. I'll be frank on this issue. When people are in war-torn countries, and it's largely the situation is made worse by our foreign policies, we should welcome them with open arms. And I'm the only one running for Senate who's willing to say that. So, I would ask all of you for your consideration. I am running for U.S. Senate, a statewide seat. I'm running against a lot of money, but I'm a peace candidate. I'm the candidate who wants to remove the burden of taxation from the poor. And I'm the candidate that wants to remove the violence and coercion against oppressed communities. And I'd like to leave you off your time.
Hello, my name is Emily Linnea, and I'm running for Orange County Commissioner in District 5. District 5 includes Maitland, Winter Park, some of downtown Orlando, most of the area north of 50, East Orange County. I moved here in '98 with my husband. I have two boys, a 9-year-old and a 17-year-old. I graduated from Linton Community College, UCF, and Full Sail University with a master's degree. I created and ran a successful business for 10 years, and I closed that business to have my second son. After closing that business, I've been a career consultant, and I've also been a career counselor for 3 years. The reason why I'm running is because 3 years ago, I moved to an area, a rural area, bought 6 acres, and they wanted to build an urban development out in the rural area. I am honored to have helped raise over 10,000 petition signatures and get over 400 people to a commissioner county meeting. And that meeting lasted until 2 a.m. in the morning because of public comment. That was in opposition of these developments. And after all that, our current commissioner still voted in favor of the developers rather than listening to the voters, the people who we represented. Now, the question that I get a lot is what's the job of the commissioner? Well, the job of the commissioner are two things, two major things. It's the budget, putting together the budget for the county and allocating that money. The other job is approving developments and rezoning. And that's about 80% of the job. If you go to a commissioner's meeting, most of the meeting is taken up on approving developments. And developments or urban sprawl and negative aspects of growth, it affects a lot of the issues that we have, including our job market, our economy, healthcare, education. It spreads across a lot of different issues that we have. And that's why it's very important to make these decisions correctly and plan accordingly for our future. My qualifications are that I've been a business owner and I'm a business consultant. And I help people put together budgets and help their businesses grow, and I could do the same thing for our community. I also know, because I've been fighting urban sprawl for the last 3 years, I've learned how to read a comprehensive land use plan, the traffic studies, development plans, and having that knowledge is helping me be able to make the right decisions for our future and knowing how we're supposed to develop properly. I also have been a career advisor for 3 years for Full Sail, and I worked with graduates across the entire country, so I was able to see what it's like in other cities and what employers are looking for to relocate to the location. So I'm looking forward to helping and improving our quality of life here in Orange County for our workers, that businesses want to come here.
for having all of us here, and thank you for letting me come speak in front of you. My name is Mike Hopkins, and for the last 30 years, I've dedicated my life to the residents of Orange County. I retired last year from the Orange County Sheriff's Office because by law, in order to run for sheriff, I had to retire. So, what have I learned in the last year? What have I learned from my career? First off, we do not have enough deputy sheriffs patrolling the neighborhoods. So how do I fix that? I've got a plan so we can put 65 more deputies out on the street on day one, get them back into your neighborhoods. Currently, your deputies transfer every 2 weeks to a different part of the county. That's going to stop them. They're going to be assigned to your neighborhoods. They're going to be your neighborhood deputy. You're going to know them, and they're going to know you. They're going to be a part of your neighborhood now, instead of just somebody who drives through in a police car and it doesn't even wave at you. So one of the things, or a couple of the things I have to do is this. I believe in transparency. We have to treat everybody with dignity and respect. That starts from the top all the way down. Accountability. How's that? Every deputy is going to have a body camera. Everything's going to be recorded. So I ensure that they're giving you the best service that you pay for. You deserve to have the best law enforcement. Secondly, I think I need to keep you informed of what goes on in your neighborhood. Some of you look up and you see the helicopter flying around your neighborhood, but you don't know what's going on. When I become your sheriff, I'm creating an app that will actually send out a message to you in real time what we're looking for. You might be looking for a 3-year-old child who just walked away. At that point, I don't want you locked inside of your house. I want you coming out and helping me find your child. You have to get the community back involved in order for us to solve problems. What if we're looking for somebody who just robbed the house? Well, if I tell you who we're looking for, you might see that person running through the community. You call 911 and you help us catch these people. We have got to get back our community-oriented policing. Some of the things that I want to do to ensure, again, quality, is the body camera. But if a deputy sheriff comes to your house, before they leave, they're going to give you a business card with a case number and their badge number. When they leave, you're going to go on my app, and you're actually going to be able to rate the performance of that deputy. We need to hold them accountable. I will ensure that they give you the best service possible. Some of the things that we need to do is we need to learn about all the cultures within Orange County. Part of that is we have a Haitian community, we have a Muslim community, we have the Hispanic community, the Caribbean community. I am going to get with the leaders of all of these communities, and then some. I didn't want to list all of them, but we are going to sit down and we're going to learn about the different cultures. All of my deputies will be required to, we're going to come up with either a DVD or an online class that they'll be required to watch. So we can learn about your culture, so we understand things, so we don't take things the wrong way. We have got to all work together, because the bottom line is this: we are all Americans here, and we should treat each other as Americans. When I was a young man, I grew up Catholic, and I remember back then the Catholics and the Protestants were killing and bombing each other over in England. And with my parents, I was curious about that. It's like, am I not supposed to like the Protestants because they're Catholic? And of course, my dad was like, no, that is not what it is. The bottom line, the Catholics and the Protestants over there, they were not Christians. They weren't Catholic. These people were killers. And that's how we need to look at the Muslim community also. These people who claim to be Muslim who are out here killing people, you know as well as I do, they're not true Muslims. They might say they are, but that's not what they are. That's not what we represent. So I need to teach that within my agency, that we don't look at any religion, race, or creed as one being more hurtful or harmful than the other. And again, that starts at the top. And that's what I'm going to do as your sheriff: accountability. Part of my job is, first and foremost, I am not a politician. This last year has been stressful to me, because it's easier for me to chase bad guys with guns than it is to try to be a politician. This part is not fun. But I need to get back out into the community, back out to the sheriff's office, so we can fix all the issues that are going on there. And that's what I'm going to do. Every Friday night, I will be out on patrolling your neighborhoods. I'll be leading by example, showing the deputies the right way we need to treat people and how we do our job. And most importantly, I am going to do what you pay me to do, and that's treat you with dignity, respect, keep you and your family safe. Thank you very much.
So we also have a representative from Gary Johnson's presidential campaign, Jim Turney.
Thank you very much. I ask for the opportunity to come and address you for a few moments. about the presidential campaign. And I notice there are no other representatives up here, so you're going to hear from at least one side which you may not hear much from in the media. And that is the Libertarian Party's candidate for president and vice president. That's Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. They are the candidates who can most seriously give you peace, truth, and unity. And I want to speak about those three things because that is what they represent. It's what all libertarians represent, including Paul Stanton here, who you've already heard from. Peace, as Paul said, we are non-interventionists. From the very beginning of the Libertarian Party, almost 50 years ago, we have represented non-interventionist foreign policy. I'm not going to go into what that means, except that I can assure you that all the other candidates for office of the Democrat and Republican parties are interventionists. You already know that, I'm sure, because of their actions and their words. But speaking of words, truth. That's been a big casualty in this campaign so far. Nobody knows what Donald Trump is going to say next, and if he believes it, if he's truthful about what he's going to do if he gets elected. And we all know the reputation of Hillary Clinton with truth. And I'll just leave it at that. You'll have to decide for yourself. But if you look at Gary Johnson and look at the kind of things, the way he presents himself, even people who disagree with it recognize his honesty and truthfulness, and he will tell you the truth about one most important subject, which is what are the limits of government. Government is an institution that we need, but it is not one that has unlimited capabilities, as you often hear from most politicians. And libertarians are truthful about the limits of government and what it's capable of accomplishing. Finally, unity. Well, we have had a very polarized political environment and growing more polarized and more partisan over the years, the last few years, and this campaign is an ideal example of that. But what about Gary Johnson and Bill Weld? Both of them have been elected as governors of states, and they got reelected. And both of them were Republican governors in states that are reliably Democrat. Gary Johnson was 2 terms the governor in New Mexico. Bill Weld was 2 terms the governor of Massachusetts. So they have a proven track record of being able to govern and a proven track record of working across the political aisles with other political parties. That's the kind of unity that America needs. And if you believe in peace, truth, and unity, I think you should vote Libertarian, including for President of the United States. And that would be for Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. Thank you.
Thank you to all the candidates. Please help me thank them once again for their speeches. Okay, so we're going to go right into the questions. We have quite a few. Thank you very much from the audience. So this question first is for Mr. Carlos Smith. Could you expand on your involvement with the Muslim American community, and can you name at least one time when you have worked with the American Muslim or American Muslims on legislation or to help our community in your line of work?
Thank you for that question. Way before June 12th, I have been the Government Affairs Manager for Equality Florida. That's my day job. So it has been my job to advocate for the civil rights of LGBT Floridians in Tallahassee. In this last legislative session, I did join with Layla Abdelaziz, who is my counterpart at the Council for American Islamic Relations, for trying trying to kill, successfully killing the bill that was filed that would have blocked the federal government from being able to place Syrian refugees and continue the process of placing Syrian refugees in the state of Florida after they've been vetted. In addition to that, I have been active in the Islamic community as a voice calling for the end of Islamophobia and xenophobia. Most recently, there was a rally at the Dr. Phillips Center that was organized called American Muslims for Peace. And my message there was loud and clear. It was a message that ignorance is what breeds bigotry. And what we have to do as a community, and what I'm going to continue to do, is to advocate not only for full equality for every person, but also to make sure that we educate the public on the issues. Recently at UCF, there was a gun scare where someone believed that there was an armed shooter on campus at the UCF library. But here's how the UCF Police Department responded. They put out a push notification to every member of UCF staff and every student on campus that basically said, possible Middle Eastern gunman / woman on UCF main campus. First of all, a push notification like that is another example of what Islamophobia looks like. And then what we found out was that the UCF Police Department put out a message like that because they saw a student on social media who put up a post saying that she saw a gunman in the library, and it turns out that the alleged gunman was a woman wearing a hijab in the stairway praying. I think that that is an example of the type of work that we have to do to educate people, both young and old, about everyone in our community, so that we don't continue to perpetuate the Islamophobia and the xenophobia that has been so pervasive here in the state of Florida. And I look forward to continuing to work with those leaders to make sure that we uproot bigotry in that way. Thank you for that question.
So this question is for Emily. How can we improve our roads and reduce congestion?
We could do that through proper planning of the placement of development and growth. For instance, around the Sunrail stations, we can build up rather than out. That way we build thanks to mass transit. We have people walking and taking bikes or mass transit to work rather than driving to work. The problem that we have right now is that we're building developments or subdivisions outside and spread out, and there's no infrastructure there for people to get to work from those subdivisions. And these are only homes. So what we need to do is build homes around where the jobs are, where the shopping is, and that takes cars and traffic off of the roads. And let's improve our mass transit system as well.
So this question is for Spike. With over 60 million visitors to the attractions, how can we prevent criminals and gangsters from invading our county?
First and foremost, we have to fill the 110 vacancies that are currently open within the sheriff's office. These vacancies are fully funded, but the problem is this. Since January 2015, the sheriff's office is losing 13 deputies a month who are leaving to go to other better paying jobs, and they're leaving because of the morale issues. So, we need to get those 110 deputies back out on the street, but we also need to focus our attention because the tourism area is our bread and butter. There's no doubt that that's what keeps the economy of Orange County and Orlando going. We need to get more deputies who are out there acting as ambassadors, who are highly visible to deter crime out on the International Drive Corridor, but we also need to get other deputies who are going after the small few who come in and try to prey on our visitors. Part of that is we need to work closer with all the hotels and the security. We need to work closer with the Orlando Police Department because half of International Drive is theirs. We need everybody in the community, from the employees to the businesses to local agencies, to team up, to share intelligence, and to go out there and identify our issues and put the deputies out there to, again, be present and visible to deter crime. But if somebody tries to do it, we have enough deputies out there to actually catch them. And one thing I want to add, what bothers me the most is this. As of recently, there's Sector 5 is the International Drive Corridor. There's 2 sheriff zones in that area. Zone 50 has an 80% increase in crime this year, and Zone 51 has a 170% increase in crime. We have got to fix this before we start losing our tourists, because I don't want people to come visit Orlando and leave only remembering they were the victim of a crime.
So this message is for Mr. Gary Johnson's rep for president. How is your candidate not going to win? Isn't he going to split the vote? And the second question is, how can your candidate work with international leaders when he knows none of them?
Good questions. Well, every candidate makes mistakes, and this campaign has received very little coverage. A mistake is made, that's the only time we got coverage. So maybe a good strategy is make more mistakes like that, forgetting the name of a leader. But the question was, what leader does he admire? That's a difficult one for a libertarian to answer, even if you know everybody, because we don't have too many leaders of countries who respect the individuals, respect the non-interventionist foreign policies that we advocate. So it's very difficult to answer that question quickly. Splitting the vote. Right now, the evidence is that that Gary Johnson is taking equally from both the other major party candidates. However, it looks like that's turning around, and we'll see over the next couple of weeks. Most likely, because of the difficulties that Donald Trump is having with his own political party, there will probably be more Republicans who will split off and vote for Gary Johnson just because they can't stomach Donald Trump. And Gary Johnson is maybe the best option for them. But one thing I didn't say before, and this is a good moment to say it, it's most important to vote for something you believe in, not against the other guy, the other candidate there. That is very much what most Americans do typically, and it's certainly the case for the presidential vote this year. So I would encourage you not to worry about who's going to take the vote from, especially if you're really trying to vote strategically and you see that one candidate is easily going to win where you are, in this case Florida, then you're not changing the electoral college vote by voting your conscience and voting for Gary Johnson. But my personal preference, and what I always do, is I vote for something I believe in. I do not vote against the lesser of two evils.
Thank you. I want to take a break from questions just for a few minutes because I see that Rick Singh, our property appraiser, has joined us, so that we give him 5 minutes to introduce himself, what he's running for, and what he stands for.
Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. It's my pleasure to be with you this evening. Apologies for being a little tardy. I was actually at another event. I am your Orange County property appraiser. I was elected in 2012. And when I was elected, together, we made history. I am the first person of color to have been elected to the office of the property appraiser. I'm also the first state-certified, qualified appraiser in the history of the office of the Orange County property appraiser. Since taking office, we've done some tremendous work in this office. We are first in the state for accuracy of assessment. That's an important status for every citizen of Orange County because it quite simply means that if it's assessed accurately and it's assessed fairly and equitably, we all pay our fair share, we all should pay less. We're also first in the state, this ranking is by the Department of Revenue, first in the state for defense of assessment, 99.6% success rate in defending the valuation when challenged at the Value Adjustment Board. We are also first in the state for efficiency, dollars spent per tax roll. And while I'm talking about tax roll, I want you to understand that Orange County has the most complex tax roll in the world. When I speak to my colleagues around the world, and I have in Dubai, I have in Panama, I often tell them about our tax roll. No other jurisdiction in the world has 7 theme parks, 84,000 hotel rooms, 14,000 timeshare units that get sold on almost a weekly basis. $9.3 billion of new construction every day in Orange County. The property appraiser needs to be eminently qualified to deal with those appraisal issues. It's not enough to be a career politician. To be the property appraiser of Orange County, the property appraiser must be qualified to deal with those appraisal issues. So as I submit myself for re-election, these are some of the things that you must consider. Fair and equitable assessment. Being accountable to the taxpayers of Orange County. I've run this office at a 10% under budget for every year that I've been in office, giving back to Orange County almost $3.5 million. This year it'll almost be $5 million for every year that I've been in office. I want you to bear in mind, my tax roll went from $110 billion when I took office. Today it's $160 billion. We were able to do more with less with a better return on the investment. So what I mean by that is quite simply, we are working smarter, utilizing technology. First in the state, first in the world, to build and launch a mobile device for mass appraisal. This is, of course, the envy of many of my colleagues around the world, building and launching a mobile device. This has enabled us to leverage technology. Our website speaks for itself. 8.5 million visitors, 1 to 2 searches per second, 5 million unique visitors. Those of you that are in this room that use this website will testify to that. We've been very conscious about outreach environment and community. Our website is also translated into 51 different languages. We've done, since I've been in office, I've been to 700 plus outreach events, educating our community, outreach in the form of education, cultural outreach, and many, many diverse activities this office. We've taken this office from really ground zero to now a state-of-the-art office. I am your Orange County property appraiser. I want to make note very quickly that quite recently there have been some dark money that has entered this race as I run for re-election. Nobody knows where the entities of the origin of this money is coming from. They've spent almost $1 million so far to prevent me from being re-elected. The question I want to ask is why? Why? Because I've ensured that everyone pay their fair share. So if a single mother in Paramore have to pay her fair share, well then, so should big business. And the reason that this dark money has entered this race is because of that, because I've held everyone accountable and ensured that everybody pay their fair share. If you as a business person, you as a homeowner have to pay your fair share, then I firmly believe as your property appraiser, we all should pay our fair share. So with that, I submit myself for re-election. I humbly ask for your support. I humbly ask for your vote. I want to remind you that my story is your story. It is a story of coming to America, working hard, playing by the rules, and doing the right thing. And running for office is giving back. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. So let's get back to questions. This is for anyone at the panel who wants to take us. Do you support Amendment 2 to legalize medical marijuana in Florida? Why or why not?
Yes. So I've never smoked marijuana or consumed any illicit drug in my life. I don't have the interest in it. I know some people might not believe me, but you know, there are lots of moral implications in the municipal, using your. So anyway, this is a different issue entirely. The issue here at hand is how should we best solve this problem of drugs in America? Should we ruin people's lives and disproportionately target specific communities in doing so? Or should we look for more peaceful ways to solve this issue? So, specifically, Amendment 2 is about medical. But, so, we're looking at a much smaller group there. Not only that we had sick, terminally ill, elderly people who are trying to look for ways to manage their pain or manage the side effects of their chemotherapy. And when you're looking for all of your options just to get through the day and feel okay, would we send police officers to take them to jail for that? That's what Amendment 2 asks. And so you don't want to send grandma and grandpa to jail for trying to manage their pain and their side effects of their medication. I would highly recommend that you vote yes on Amendment 2.
I would also agree that we should all vote yes on Amendment 2, because the reality is there's a lot of people who are hurting in the state, who have life-threatening illnesses. Many of them can be very, very much helped by Amendment 2, where the doctors will be able to prescribe the medical marijuana. And I just want to point out, many people feel strongly that perhaps we need medical marijuana in Florida, but that we don't need to go as far as to change the Constitution to do so. Here's what I will point out. The reason this is being put to voters is because the Florida legislature has refused to do their job, and they have refused to implement any type of medical marijuana to the citizens of our state without kicking and screaming. When the previous Amendment 2 almost passed in 2014, that should have been a shot across the bow to the Florida legislature that they need to do something on this issue. And so what they did was they passed a Charlotte's Web bill, which was a very narrow piece of legislation which allowed for a tiny fraction of those people who have life-threatening illnesses, including children, to be able to get Charlotte's Web, which is a liquid form of medical marijuana, which is very low in THC. And the reality is that it's not enough, and that other Floridians were dying in pain without having access to medical marijuana while the legislature continued to drag their heels. The other thing that I will mention is that part of the reason our criminal justice system in Florida is broken is because we spent up $220 million of taxpayer money per year to enforce marijuana criminalization laws and the enforcement of marijuana possession laws. I think that that is a waste of your resources and your taxpayer money, which is why one of the first pieces of legislation I will file in Tallahassee, inshallah, that I get elected on November 8th, is a statewide decriminalization bill that will allow for law enforcement, or will actually require of law enforcement, that they only issue a civil citation to those who are caught with 20 grams of marijuana or less. That is in the spirit of what happened in the city of Orlando, where a similar ordinance was passed, although I don't think the Orlando ordinance was perfect, that gave law enforcement the option of being able to issue a civil citation or making an arrest for simple marijuana possession charges. I think that that is a bad idea, because the outcome is that many members of law enforcement, unfortunately, will arrest people of color who are caught with marijuana as opposed to issuing the civil citation. So my version would be a mandatory civil citation, and I think that that is a move in the right direction. The right direction, I believe, by the way, is the full legalization of marijuana for recreational purposes. Thank you.
Okay, this question is for both Ms. Tiffany Russell and Daisy Rose. What makes you qualified to be clerk? So we'll start with Daisy.
Well, as I had indicated earlier, I've been a government employee for 23 years. What does that mean? That means that I have been inside the organization for 23 years and I know the system. I know what the system does as far as how the budget is put together, how the fundings are allocated through each agency. I am qualified because I have obtained degrees within this community, so I am engaged in the community. I know what the people need, and I am part of this community for 24 years, and I graduated from Valencia. I'm always out and about. I visited many institutions such as Hindu temples. I've made it my business to become acclimated with my community, not just within my campaign, but throughout the times that I've been here. Throughout my employment as a government employee, I have been fortunate to do many outreach programs, meaning I've been part of the environmental movement, sustainability. I've also been with the movement of the development of certain entities. So I know the system. I am qualified because I am for the people. I am not a politician, so I'm not part of the establishment or the clique. I don't care. I'm not money driven. I care about what the people of this community needs because I am one of those people. So I am qualified because of that reason.
Thank you for the question. So the Orange County Planning Board has 460 employees, and we manage a $26 million budget. In the past 2 years in this office, I've learned how to reorganize the organization and reduce our employee staff by 10%. We're down to 460. We've always had a very balanced budget. We provide services to Orange County as well as sending money back to the state of Florida.